Hello and welcome. I decided to play a little bit of host today because our friend Gregory here is a little, I don't know what the phrase I want to use, down in the dumps a little bit. His team currently, as of, let me double check this date, it is December 13th, 2021, and Michigan has not one, not two, not three, but four losses currently, and coming off a loss as a 13-point favorite to the Minnesota Gophers at home. Gregory, thoughts?
First of all, shout out to me for, after a full calendar year, finally figuring out the correct lighting in my little studio basement here. It's always been extremely dark. Now it's a little lighter. I think that bodes well for me personally and my appearance on these podcasts. So thank you for that. Carter, it's great to be here. It's great to have you hosting a role that I've always wanted to see you do, and a phenomenal first question by you. As you mentioned, it's time to talk about Michigan, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to run from it. I'm not here to hide. I'm not here to make false statements. I'm here to do what you had to do for all of last season, which was take punch after punch after punch in the gut while watching your team struggle to make the NCAA tournament and ultimately lose in the play-in game. That's what Michigan may be headed for. And I'm afraid of that. I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm here for that. And I'm ready to talk about why I think this is happening and who's at fault. And I might throw some shots at who's at fault.
Okay. Do you want to dive right into that? Or can I get my first actual question off of the night?
This is your show, Cart. This is your show.
Okay. So what do me, you, and Kobe Buffkin all have in common?
I was going to say we can all shoot threes and have a pretty stroke, but you are a horrible shooter. So I don't know. Is it the fact that we all played 0 minutes in a Division I basketball game?
Ding, 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 ding. We all played 0 minutes. Now, Greg, in the past, I have been attacked. I have been maliciously verbally attacked by you in a sense that my coach, Tom Izzo, doesn't play McDonald's All-Americans, doesn't play his guys. Yet we are in a era right now where Kobe Buffkin, the McDonald's All-American that he is racking up DNP after DNP while the team is struggling, and he continues to throw out Terrence Williams. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm disgusted by it. Listen, I have been, and you've given me shit for this on multiple episodes prior to this, even before the games were being played this season, but I will stand by the fact that I have been Kobe Buffkin's largest vocal advocate that there is on the internet.
I think I might be ahead of you, but go ahead.
I think at this point it's changed because you're taking glee in the fact that he hasn't played, and I've been waving a flag saying this is ridiculous since the first game of the season, let alone now when it's game 9 or 10 or whatever it is, and they have 4 losses and they're getting ran out of their own Chrysler Center arena to the 13th best team in the Big Ten. It's nonsensical. It would be nonsensical if Kobe Buffkin wasn't the skill set that is missing from this team. Like if he was just another power forward that was a 5-star recruit, a top 40 recruit from the state of Michigan, and he wasn't in the rotation at all, I'd bitch about it. But the simple fact of this roster is that Kobe Buffkin is one of 3 guys that can shoot, that can score from 3 levels, that can play multiple positions in the backcourt. He's one of 3 guys. It's Devontae Jones, it's Eli Brooks, and it's him. And Frankie Collins, yes, he's on the roster. Frankie Collins is not an offensive threat. He's not skilled. He can get to the rim. I like Frankie Collins a lot, but this team needs shooting so desperately, Cart. And Kobe Buffkin is a shooter. I believe that with my bones. I've seen it. And I've been vocal about it. I've been angry about it. Michigan fans, some agree with me, some don't. A lot of them try to pull the, well, there has to be something we're not seeing in practice. Juwan's the coach. Why would we question him? Obviously, he must be really bad. Have you seen the product on the court? I don't care how bad he is. He's not as bad as the product on the court. Devontae Jones played 20 minutes in the second half of a blowout loss earlier this season, in a game in which he had 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, and 3 turnovers. It cannot get worse. And if I were Kobe Buffkin, if I was in Kobe Buffkin's camp, if I was in Kobe Buffkin's family, I would tell him to hit the transfer portal. And I don't mean that to say that I'm hoping that happens, because I think Kobe Buffkin could be an all-time Michigan great player. I really do. He deserves better, and it's bullshit.
It is. Wow, Greg, quite a statement. Now, let me take off my, picking at you, nitpicking at you hat and actually talk about this. So, up until this point, Michigan, yes, they lost games. That happens in basketball. Teams have tough stretches. They lose to a team in Arizona, who I think is a top 5 team in the country and a national title contender. They lose at UNC to a very good, let me say very good, to a solid UNC team on the road. UNC played very well.
It's a good team. It's a good team.
Yeah, good team. Seton Hall, another good team. They had that game. They gave it away. It's a tough loss at home to give away, but also not just like a black eye, like, okay, you're losing to Seton Hall. This loss was the first one of the year that's just absolutely inexcusable. Okay. Minnesota is not a good basketball team. They play hard. They're not, but the talent is not there. And it's a game that they should have won very easily playing at home. So maybe now it'll be kind of a put up or shut up point, or a point where Juwan realizes, like, I don't want to take it too far and over exaggerate that this is rock bottom, but this kind of is close to rock bottom at this point of the year. So maybe he makes some changes moving forward as far as personnel, who's getting minutes, switch it up a little bit, throw some shit at the wall, see what sticks, you know what I'm saying? So maybe some Kobe Buffkin minutes come moving forward or something like that. But at this point, something needs to change, because it's just not working. And it's affecting, not only is it affecting the players that aren't playing well, it's affecting like your dogs. Like Hunter Dickinson can't get any space. Musa Diabate, for as talented as he is, makes a lot of mistakes defensively and offensively, extremely talented, but the talent is still there for this team. I still think it is a fixable situation, but it might be worse than you thought when you addressed the teams that need fixing.
Yeah, I mean, make no mistake about it. If there was a Coach of the Year award last season, Juwan deserved that. He won it fair and square. The moves he made, the roster he built, what he was able to get out of the roster he built, concluding with 4 regular season losses for all of last season. He was the National Coach of the Year. If there was an award for the worst coach of the season, he would have my vote this season. This team is a top 5 talented roster in the country. That hasn't changed. There's no reason for this to be happening. Now, I agree with you that the games you said, like, they've played tough teams. Seton Hall is very good. Arizona is great. North Carolina at North Carolina is a very tough place to win. I was not panicking. In fact, a week ago on this very show, I was doing the whole, the schedule's been tough. Not doing that anymore. I don't care who you've played. I don't care if you've played the Golden State Warriors 9 games in a row. If your 10th game is at home in Ann Arbor against a first-year head coach, and it's Minnesota, and you lose pretty comfortably down the stretch, that's a problem. And there should be 5 fingers pointed back at Juwan Howard in the mirror right now, because this team's talented. Like you said, this team's incredibly talented, and he's making all the wrong moves.
Who is, I don't want to say worst coach, who's doing a worse job with their team this year, Penny or Juwan?
Penny, just because of how toxic that is.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan's not far behind as far as toxic. Let me tell you. I mean, I have a couple quotes written down here. Last week, Hunter Dickinson, this is paraphrasing, said, guys need to know they can't make mistakes they made at other schools. There's one guy on this roster that played at another school. So we've got our starting center, who is a preseason All-American, just publicly antagonizing our starting point guard.
That literally would be like somebody leaving a review on our podcast and be like, I don't want to call out who I don't like on the pod, but the black guy is just not pulling his weight or
Right.
something like that.
Right. So that's one. Number two, Eli after the Minnesota game said this isn't high school anymore. Okay. So again, we're antagonizing the 2.5 freshmen that play in the rotation. We're just going to throw daggers at Caleb Houston and Musa Diabate, who honestly are probably the two guys in the rotation I have the least problems with right now. I think there's no accountability here right now. I think Hunter Dickinson hasn't been what he needs to be, even if this team was playing well and winning games. Hunter Dickinson has not been a first-team All-American at all.
He hasn't. No, and we talked about it on a couple episodes ago, G. Like last year with the talent that was on this team, him getting, I think he averaged what, 15-9 last year? 14-9, or was it higher than that?
Like 15-7, I want to say.
15-7. Like that was good enough last year when you have talent like Franz around you and other guys around you. This year it's not. You're that guy. Like that's not 15-7 is not going to be good enough for this team. Now, granted, he doesn't have the shooting or spacing around him right now, but at the same time, Hunter needs to take a little look in the mirror himself. I mean, he misses some easy shots. He still does not have a right hand. I specifically remember last game down the stretch, he had a chance to lay it up with his right hand and went right back to his left and got blocked. Like it's a lot going on. You can point to every single person on this team and kind of see what's going wrong with them. So yeah, you make a good point with Hunter not playing to his level, or like the level that or the way he carries himself. He carries himself like he's supposed to be that guy and a first-team All-American, and he hasn't been that guy.
Here's what I want. If you're going to go to Big Ten Media Day and grab the trophy and parade around saying, Illinois fans, you hate them, and they're not Michigan State or Ohio State, you hate them too, but you really hate Illinois fans. Then you better back it up. You better lead this team to a top 25 team all season long. You better put up 20 and 10 when needed. And when you're down 6 against Minnesota and you get 3 consecutive post entries, you better not go 0 for 3, because let's call it what it is. He had 3 chances to score in a 2-possession game in the final 3 minutes of that game. He went 0 for 3. Who am I supposed to look at? Eli Brooks missed a wide open 3 down the stretch of that game. Missed a pull-up jumper about a minute later. Again, 2-possession game. Senior captain, 5th-year senior captain. Guy who's supposed to be a defensive stopper, but has been getting torched by every decent guard he's played for the last year and a half off the dribble. And he wants to hit the post-game press conference and point fingers at the freshman? That's our 5th-year senior captain? Something ain't right about that to me. And I don't think that, look, man, I'm going to say something I cannot believe I'm saying in a forum like this. That would never happen in Tom Izzo's program. A player stepping to the post game and calling out an entire group of teammates. Like what is happening here? What is happening? I can't believe this is happening. On top of the fact that this roster is just built to fail. Like as talented as I say they are, which I truly believe, they got 5 centers or power forwards. Like in the 8-man playing rotation he wants to play, Hunter Dickinson's a center. Musa Diabate would be better as a center. Terrence Williams is a power forward / small ball 5. Caleb Houston should be a power forward. Brandon Johns is probably his best at a center. Like those are 5 of the guys that lead you in minutes. And then you're left with like 2 combo guards who aren't point guards. And one of them can shoot, maybe. Like it's just a horribly built roster that has me wondering if Juwan knows it's not 1992, because when he played at Michigan in 1992, it was okay that there was only one guy on the roster who shot better than 32% from 3. In 2022, which is about to be, that doesn't win basketball games. And based on the roster he built this year, and the roster he has coming in recruit-wise next year, I don't think Juwan Howard knows that.
You know what? And Greg, I'm sorry to see you like this, man. I know what
I am heated.
I know how you feel. I know it's tough. It's really tough. It's very tough. But not everybody can be the best basketball team in the state of Michigan. There can only be one. Okay.
We're gonna go there now. That's what
I'm just saying. I said that in the last episode. You looked at me sideways, and now it's like, shit. I don't know. Like, how's Central and Eastern this year?
Hey, you didn't name one other directional school. That's all I'll say right now. Although I hear that team from Kalamazoo has more shooters than Michigan is what I've been told. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But look, I'd be remiss to not mention a couple guys that I want to heap a little more hatred on from Michigan, if you don't mind. Terrence Williams and Brandon Johns are horrible. And they are both coming off the bench right now, which is the correct move. And they're totally redundant. Like, one of them, if he was coming off the bench, fine. We don't need another power forward that can't shoot in this rotation. We don't need three of those playing. When you're competing with Moussa Diabate and Hunter Dickinson for minutes, you better be able to point at something you do better than both of those guys in order to insert yourself into this rotation. And the problem is that Brandon Johns does nothing better than either of those two. And Terrence Williams is like a little grimier and a little better off the dribble. Okay. Like, to me, if I was trying to solve this, I would just straight up not play Brandon Johns. I would have Terrence Williams play entirely at the 4 and maybe even a little super small ball at the 5 and get like 20 minutes a game. And I really think that would solve a lot. You have to move some of those minutes that are currently going to Terrence Williams and Brandon Johns, who combined for 0 points and 3 rebounds in the loss to Minnesota. Those two players, 0 points and 3 rebounds. They need less minutes, Cart. We're going nowhere if they continue to get them. And we're especially going nowhere if they continue to get them while Hunter Dickinson and Moussa Diabate are also on the floor. Like, again, I don't understand. It's like if you're building a sandwich, Cart, if I went to the Elliott residence and said, make me a sandwich, what would you do? What would step 1 be, Carter?
Step 1, I'd say, you got your fucking mind. Take your ass to the kitchen. You know where the sandwich stuff is.
Okay, so I'd walk myself to the kitchen. I'd open the Elliott cupboard, and I'd probably find what? A loaf of bread, maybe some peanut butter, some jelly, maybe some deli meats, some cheeses, maybe a variety of options of things in the cupboard that I could build to craft a winning sandwich. If you open Juwan Howard's cupboard, he just has 9 loaves of bread and like 1 little half open thing of turkey. That's all it is. And like, he's trying to build a sandwich with 7 different loaves of bread right now. We need 1 loaf of bread. We need 2 pieces of bread. And then we need to throw in a little shooting, a little skill, a little passing, a little ball handling. He has none of that on this roster. And the ones that he does in Kobe Buffkin, he doesn't play. So what are we doing here? If he doesn't make changes to this rotation, this team is actually in danger of missing the tournament. And I can't believe that I'm saying that.
You think it's that dire?
Yeah. I mean, how can it not be? After a loss to Minnesota at home, like, is that the second easiest game on their schedule this season in Big Ten play? Like, if you can't win that or at least compete down the stretch of that, I don't know where these wins come from. They can't go beat Purdue right now. They can't go beat Michigan State right now. Can't beat Illinois, Ohio State. I would want to see Indiana. Like, I just don't. And look, the thing is, Cart, all of this can change. It could change so fast. But I'm looking at that cupboard. I don't expect this loaf of bread to suddenly become a fucking piece of meat or a piece of provolone cheese, right? Like, I might need to walk my ass to the store and get some cheese if I want some cheese on my damn sandwich. And right now, Juwan refuses to do that. That might be the worst metaphor I've ever made, but it is.
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I have 3 stats that are horrifying stats that I'd like to play a little game, if you don't mind. I'd like to read these 3 stats, and I'd like you to tell me which one is the most concerning. Okay. Number 1, this Michigan team that is, I think, 5-4 right now, currently has the 10th best 3-point percentage defense in the country. So they are defending the 3 fantastically, and they're still 5-4. That terrifies me. Number 2.
That's pretty terrifying.
Number 2, Hunter Dickinson Hashtag Big Dickinson Energy. Make sure you buy a fucking t-shirt so this man can support his family since he ain't going to make the NBA. Sorry, that was rude of me. I'm going to put myself on a 5-second timeout for that. All right. Hunter Dickinson has the highest 3-point percentage on this team. Hunter Dickinson of acclaimed viral video of missing threes that the Michigan basketball social media team thought was genius, has the highest 3-point percentage on the team. Stat number 3, Car. Are you ready for this one?
Jesus Christ.
Caleb Houston, who I barely mentioned in all of this. I actually think Houston's one of the least concerning pieces of this, even though he's playing out of position. Caleb Houston is averaging less points per 40 minutes than Adrian Nunez.
Okay. The level of concerning that all those things are is very, very bad. I think that if I had to rank it, I go Dickinson, the 3-point percentage last. I'll take that last.
Because it's a good thing that he can shoot. Like,
yeah, you could kind of flip that to a good thing. Okay, Hunter's hitting threes. Dope. Okay.
38% on the year, actually.
Yeah, which is not, I mean, probably not hell of attempts, but not that bad. The second one would be Houston Nunez. That's disgusting. But the absolute worst is that defensive percentage thing, because we've seen crazy things happen in basketball with teams getting hot from 3. And you lose a game because the team gets hot from 3. That's not happening with Michigan, apparently. They're just getting their ass busted. Like, that's the thing about the Minnesota game. It wasn't like they were just extremely hot from 3. They were getting to the cup. They were posting up. Michigan just couldn't stop them.
Carter, Minnesota was getting whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted.
Jamison Battle looked like fucking prime Kansas State Michael Beasley out there.
Yeah, I can't deny it. I don't know what else to do at this point. Look, my wonderful mother, my beautiful mother, Connie, I don't know if she listens to every Sleepers episode. I know she listens to a lot of them. Love you, Mom, if you are. You probably will, because you'll see Michigan in this title. I told my mom preseason, back when everybody thought Michigan was a top 5 team. My mom and I have a pretty special Michigan basketball bond. It's like one of our things that we bond very heavily on. Told her preseason, my fear with this team, and for some reason I can't seem to shake it, is that they're the least likable, least enjoyable Michigan team to watch that I can think of. This is before I ever watched a game, but I was just envisioning, like, what's it going to be like to watch Devontae Jones? What's it going to be like to watch Brandon Johns? What's it going to be like to watch 5th-year Eli Brooks needing to be my featured offensive backcourt player? Like, even though there's these McDonald's All-Americans that I'm super excited about, I don't know where their roles are going to be, because he's going to start Brandon Johns and Eli Brooks. I know what those guys are. And God bless Eli, is one of the winningest players in Michigan history. If Eli Brooks is your best player in your backcourt, you're probably 5-4. And before the season, I thought they'd be good is the problem. I thought they'd be good and I wouldn't enjoy watching them. Instead, Cart, every 2 hours a week that I need to watch a Michigan basketball game, I can't even compare it to something else in my life. It's dreadful right now. And I still do it. But did you feel like this with Michigan State last year? Like, did you know going to those games, I hate watching this team?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, that's how I feel. Like
I hated watching Thomas Kithier. I hated watching Rocket. Hated watching Foster. I hated it. I did.
But here's the hard part for me is, like, I feel like at least last year for you, you could point very clearly to those problems and be like, oh, our point guard stinks. We need a better point guard.
Right. It was more so like we had a talent issue. Like, we were playing non-talent. Like, we didn't have that talent.
Right.
Y'all got the talent.
Do we? Like, I don't even know at this point. That's how bad of a job Juwan Howard has done to me, is that he has me questioning whether the best recruiting in the class in the country is even good. Like, Caleb Houston is a first rounder. And everyone's like, is Caleb Houston even good? Because he doesn't look good, because he's not being used correctly. And that's the problem here. Like, I think Devontae Jones is pretty good. I think he's scared shitless right now, but like, we don't even have Devontae Jones doing things that, like, he should be doing, in my opinion. Like, we have Eli Brooks on the ball constantly. Eli Brooks isn't good on the ball. He's good off the ball. Like, we don't need 3 power forwards that can't shoot playing at once. God damn it. Okay, can we move on?
I just hope Michigan realizes what they're doing to you.
Look, the bottom line is it's hilarious to me that we've done this for 2 years with like high quality now. And year 1, Michigan was so great and Michigan State was so bad. And now it's just flipped. And that's pretty good for content purposes. But I'm pretty sick of this shit already. And I got 2 more months left. I'm not looking.
Yeah, well, just so you know, hunker down. It doesn't get better. Hopefully it gets better for you, but just so you know, it did not get much better for me. And also, if I could take the last 15 minutes or so of what we just had and put it in a vial and get a syringe, I would literally inject it straight into my goddamn veins. Go green, go white, Gregory. We are here. But let's move on.
Oh, listen. One last thing to the people at home. Don't ever accuse me of being biased, because here I am ripping my team to shreds. Here I am ripping my coach to shreds. I will keep this shit real. I will host a Michigan State podcast on the field of 68. And when State stinks, I'll do this to them. And when Michigan stinks, I will do this to them. I'm not afraid of that shit. I hope Michigan gets better. I want to say I think they will. What I can say confidently is that they should get better. I'm not even confident they will. But you'll hear from me every step of the way.
I love that. So let's say you wanted to place a bet on how many more games Michigan will win this year. Is there a place you could do that?
Sure is, Carter. I would go personally, I would go to dimers.com where dimers.com/sleepers have some exclusive offers for the folks at home. You can get deposit matches. You can get promo codes. You can get odds boosts. You can get referral codes if you want to bring friends with you. Do whatever you want to do from a betting perspective, but do it through dimers.com/sleepers with us. You know, your boy G, your boy Cart, get a little kickback. Dimers dropped the bag for us. We appreciate everything they're doing. We're working on some pretty fun things as well. Like, as the rest of this season goes on, we have some big ideas for some ways to get more interactive with listeners. Possibly host some contests, give out some prizes, etc. Maybe do a bracket challenge. So stay tuned. But in the meantime, $25 deposit, I think, is all that it takes for a couple of these. Well, a couple of the different offers are different, but there's great offers is what I'm saying. Get you some free bets, get some deposit matches, and hopefully win some money with us. Right now, Cart, Michigan has the second highest odds to win the Big Ten Conference.
I wouldn't touch that. But also, just want to touch on one last thing with the Dimers thing. We're making it even easier for you because our good friend Greg here has been #hot with the daily picks. He's had a couple 3-0 days. So all you got to do is use the link, go to it, deposit $25. Go look at Greg's Twitter. He has daily picks on a day-to-day basis. Put a little bit of that $25 deposit on a couple of the games, and you win that money back easily. And it's fun. And Greg's got you. You don't even got to look at the research. He's already done the research for you. So, make it happen. We're making it easy for y'all. It's very easy.
Yeah, my record on the year right now through 33 days of picking 3 games or more is 58-45. We'll take that record. I think last year I finished just under 20 games above 500. So for a third of the way into the season to be 13 games up, we'll take that. You could say, Cart, there's a higher chance that I will go 2-1 or better on daily picks than there is that Juwan Howard will ever insert Kobe Buffkin into a game.
I could confidently say that. But I think it's time to shift to a couple of rumors that have been swirling around the Twitterverse. A possible curse in place. We recently did a video. Was it our last episode?
I don't know, but I just want to interrupt quickly and say you're doing a great job hosting, by the way. I might ask you to do this role all the time going forward. It's a lot more fun to just be like thrown to instead of throwing.
Pause. But anyway.
Okay. Compliment rescinded. Okay.
Sorry. My bad.
What are we talking about? We're talking about
the curse, because our last episode we talked in great length about the greatness that we thought Purdue. All right, yeah, that was okay. We talked in great detail about the greatness that was Purdue basketball and how we saw no weaknesses. And Purdue proceeds to lose to an unranked Rutgers team and also was on the ropes against an NC State team. They pulled it out in overtime, but it was looking very dire. Is there a sleeper's curse, Greg?
So I insinuated this. I'm not going to say the C word because I have respect for our listeners here, but I insinuated that there may be that at play in a different way. When we were in East Lansing this weekend, you've been calling a certain Mr. Max Christie by his given birth name, Cormac. And I witnessed it with my own eyes, Carter. He attempted, I think, 5 first half shots. And every time he attempted an open shot, you would say, Cormac. And that thing would clank off the side of the rim. Not good misses, Carter. They were ugly.
I disagree with that, but go ahead.
So I had already thrown into the ether that until you overcome your insistence, your selfish insistence to call Max Christie Cormac, Max might not get it together. Now, he hit a couple shots in the second half. You were at the concession stand. You weren't watching in person, so do with that what you will. I am just a little worried that collectively you and I have been saying certain things that have been influencing things to happen on the court in real life. Purdue is a good example. We dropped the episode that has the big thumbnail, #1 team in the country. I think we did that a little bit to like have some fun with our guest, Rayfeld Davis. But also at the time, we believed they were the best team in the country.
Yeah.
And then Ron Harper Jr. happens, half court shot. And then they almost lost in overtime to NC State too. So I don't know. Like at this point, I'm a pretty superstitious guy. Like I don't want to mess with the universe's mojo. Like I believe that's a thing. And right now the sleepers are not in a good place.
I believe that's a thing, but also I just want to point out that yes, Cormac's shot has been falling. Okay.
The more you say it, you know what happens.
All I'm saying is that Cormac is back-to-back Big Ten Freshman of the Week. So he can't be doing that.
Makes no sense, by the way. Caleb Houston was better than him last week, but it is what it is.
Well, my freshman didn't lose to Minnesota.
Well, that's a very fair point.
Just saying. The streets are starting to talk about Caleb Houston.
He's been solid. He needs to play his true position. If they put Caleb Houston at the 4, he'd probably look a lot better than he does trying to chase college threes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But you know what? I don't believe that we're cursing teams because I still think that Purdue is a national title contender. I still believe that.
I do too.
So
do you believe they're the best team in the country?
Do I think they're the best team in the country? No. Right now, I think Baylor's the best team in the country.
Even when I thought Purdue was the best team in the country, though, like, give me some credit for nailing the fact that going to the rack at Rutgers is a very difficult game. I was all over that plus 12.5. So, like, to me, struggling with Rutgers was not the end of the world for them. I'm more concerned with the fact that they almost lost to NC State after they already had the wake-up call game. Like, Ron Harper Jr. had an out-of-body experience in that game. He literally won it on one of the flukiest shots I've ever seen. It was great. Loved it. That's college basketball at its best. But, like, am I concerned that Purdue ended up losing by 1 instead of winning by 2 because of a crazy half-court shot? No. Am I concerned that Purdue went to overtime with a pretty mediocre team on a neutral court after they already had the wake-up call? Definitely. And honestly, Cart, they needed a lot of ref help to pull away in that game too.
They did need a lot of ref help. But it was, I think, more so what I come away out of the 2 games is that I didn't necessarily see the holes that Purdue had. But now I kind of see like what the weaknesses are in their team. Like Zach Edey might be 7'3", but he's not a rim protector. He's a giant human being, but he's not a rim protector.
Zach Edey probably can't touch his toes. Like,
yeah, but also like Travion Williams, not a rim protector. And And also, I'm very surprised. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but Ethan Morgan gets a lot of minutes. Not, and I don't really understand that. But
Yeah, I feel like Matt Painter's always been like, I don't know. He's like I'm going to do another stupid metaphor. Matt Painter's like the director trying to cast like a heist movie. Like, you know how every heist movie has to have like the leading man, the like tag team, like white male with the leading man. Then you got like the nerdy guy on the computer in the car. Then you got like the enforcer. And then you got like the woman like con artist. Like that's every single heist movie ever. Matt Painter's like, I'm going to get a pretty fun dynamic guard. And then I'm going to get just a shooter. And then I'm going to get a gritty white defender who can't shoot. And then I'm going to get a massive 7-footer from Serbia. And then I'm going to have like another post player at the 4. That's what Matt Painter does. It's been his recipe. It works. Purdue's great. I like Matt Painter a lot, but like, yeah, at the same time, like you said, there are questions with this team. One of my questions with this team, Cart, is in the backcourt. Like, I'm watching the NC State game come down to the wire. Jaden Ivey was not involved at all. And like, it's not like they were running things through other guards. And I get you're trying to force feed the ball through Travion, and Travion's really good in the clutch. But like, if Jaden Ivey is supposed to be the best guard in the country, and he is never the guy with the ball in his hands for this Purdue team in a close game, I don't like that formula.
No, I don't like it either. And he should have the ball in his hand. Like you said, Travion, great player, but it's, you have
he didn't have the ball in his hands at Rutgers. Travion did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't understand necessarily why.
I mean, Travion scores, but like, it's problematic to me. You want the ball in a guard's hands if you have the best guard in the country. And instead, again, this is the first time I can make fun of this because now they're struggling. But instead of giving the ball to the best guard in the country, Matt Painter chooses to give the ball to their 6th man.
And maybe the best player. And I don't like how you call Travion the 6th man.
He's a 6th man, is he not?
That 6th man almost had a triple-double against.
Well, but that's why it's stupid. It was never cute to be like, oh, what a great teammate he is. Oh, just what a great role model. Like, no, if you have a guy who's that fucking good, start him. Just start him. It's stupid. Why is he coming off the bench, Cart?
Because he's not as tall as Zachary. I don't know.
I play them together then. Like, it's just dumb to me. It doesn't make sense. But I can only say that now because they're struggling. I couldn't say that a week ago. But I've been waiting on that one for a month now. So,
but Purdue wasn't gonna not lose all year. I didn't expect them to lose that game, to Rutgers. Maybe you did. You expected it to be close at least, but I didn't expect them to lose that game. So I wouldn't say it's a curse yet. Now we do have another Big Ten guest that'll be joining.
Wait. I'm sorry. I have a little small thing on Purdue still. First of all, I would have said last week, like they win the Big Ten going away.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer feel that way. In fact, you asked me on Unscripted, like, can Michigan State win the conference? And I said, no. All of a sudden, I feel like my answer is changing because I think Purdue is gettable in a way I didn't believe last week. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I do. No, I did say that we can compete for the title. Now, when I did say that, I did think Purdue was going to run away with it. I thought it was going to be like a 4 to 5 game Purdue winning the conference. After what I've seen the past 2 games, you're right. I think they are gettable. They have vulnerabilities. And also, even looking besides that, the way that State's playing, I just really, really like what we're doing right now. And I think that, we'll be able to compete for a Big Ten title. Like we said, we came into this year with a certain expectation on the team, basically. And after watching them these first couple games, granted, it hasn't been against great competition in some of them. The expectation bar is continuing to rise with this team after what I've been seeing. So we can compete for a Big Ten title. But I still would think Purdue is the favorite, if I had to say it.
I think there's a really clear top 4, but I thought it was Purdue and then maybe a group of 3 after that. To me, Purdue, Illinois. I was really impressed with Illinois in that game against Arizona, who I think is a top 5 team right now. I feel like Illinois has been great without Curbelo. No idea what they're going to look like when they add Curbelo back, but Kofi surrounded by shooters. That scares me. Ohio State beats Duke. I think they know who they are. I think they're really good, and EJ Liddell has been a monster. And then Michigan State. To me, that's the top 4 right now. And I no longer think Purdue is separated in a different tier than those 4. I still think they're the best team, but I think depending on schedules, depending on who gets hot at the right time, this is not a Purdue wins the game or wins the conference by multiple games thing anymore. To me, this is like all these teams are going to end up with 4 or 5 Big Ten losses who can gut it out and raise the banner. Speaking of raise the banner, though, real quick, we have to address the Purdue front runners dilemma from the last week.
Hey, you know what? They were number 1 team for how many days? A day?
7 days? 7 days.
7 days. And they proceeded to get every single alumni that they had to make a video congratulating them on being number 1 team in December. Very front runner-ish, very champagne clipper like what we saw last year with Illinois. We honestly should have saw this coming. You saw it coming. You did. I'll give credit. You saw them getting a little front runner in them. And, you know, that's what showed these past 2 games.
Yeah, I felt it a little bit, and I will always make fun of the teams who do this. I don't care if it's Michigan, if it's Michigan State. Like, I will make fun of programs that do this shit. Illinois did it last year. Just front runner energy. This year, Purdue, again, playing great. They deserved the praise, but God forbid. I think they had Robbie Hummel on the call live in Rutgers. Rutgers is up 7 points in the second half. And they cut to a video of all the former Purdue players congratulating this team on such a great accomplishment. And, oh, by the way, back to the game where they're down 7 and Rutgers just hit another corner 3. Like, what are we doing here? It was crazy to me. I was shocked more people weren't making fun of that. I was very aggressively outwardly making fun of that. And it resulted in our little spoof video celebrating their number 3 ranking this week. So,
congratulations to them, by the way.
Congrats are in order for Purdue. We'll see if congratulations are in order again next week, depending on what they do this week.
That's a very huge feat.
Back to you, though. We were going where? We were going to Ohio State, I believe.
Yeah, we were. So we talked about the sleeper curse being a thing. And I don't think it's a thing. And we're going to prove it's not a thing because next we have Ohio State center Zed Key joining us to talk about his season, talk about his big win over Duke where he put Mark Williams in the motherfucking torture chamber. We talk some Ohio State hoops, talk Big Ten hoops. Real cool dude, real cool, interview. And he's been hooping, so maybe after this is released, we'll kind of check his stats and make sure they're still going well because we definitely don't need that curse stigma attached to us at all.
Zed Key, not a fan of being yelled at. Not to spoil anything, but just throwing that out there.
That was 100% a spoiler, but let's get to the interview with Zed Key.
All right, we got Zed Key, front court extraordinaire from Ohio State with us today. Zed, thank you so much for making time for us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. Big fella, how you feeling, man? Good dub last night. You feeling all right?
Yeah. I'm feeling good, a little sore here and there, but I feel good overall.
Hey, somebody's got to bang down low in the post. Everybody wants to come outside nowadays and shoot outside the paint. Somebody's got to do the work down low, so you much appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Zed, you're talking to a big man right there. A big man that when I've played with him, he has been exactly what he just said. He wants to float outside a little bit. So
listen, when Zed's gonna find out there's gonna be a time when basketball stops and you don't have to answer to a coach and you can just shoot whatever you want. So you spend your whole life in the paint. So you're like, now it's just time for me to get some shots up.
Right. I'm telling you. And shoot around and practice and stuff. Like before practice, I'm shooting threes. Like, I'm trying to get that ball up as much. Like I'm not going down to do no post moves.
You know the vibes.
I'm down there enough. So
Yeah.
you got to get some threes up.
Nothing wrong with that. So speaking of being down there enough in Big Ten play this season, I can only imagine you're going to be in the paint quite a bit. You're going to be battling with all these monstrous front courts in the Big Ten. But I feel like, so I think maybe preseason from just like a hype standpoint or a media standpoint, like EJ Liddell got his name thrown around a good amount. as he should. He's a killer. But I feel like in general, like the collective front court that you guys have has been a little slept on. Like you add Kyle Young, and EJ together. Like, I don't know that there's a better front court in the Big Ten, or at least not a tougher front court in the Big Ten with the way that you and Kyle have been playing. Does that like come into play mentally for you at all? Like, is there a little bit of like, hey, let's go out and prove that maybe we are up there compared to these other front courts?
A little bit. People doubted us this year. We lost Dwayne and a couple other pieces, and people doubted us like from like offensive standpoint and like scoring. So we just got to show people that that we don't really like. We're still really good and we're still really talented. Excuse me, and we're still gonna do our thing on offense.
Yeah. So, you talk about, losing pieces like Dwayne, and, he was a vital piece of the, of everything you guys did. Is that something that you are using as motivation for this year? Because I know you're going to hear that chatter about last year and what happened. We're not even going to speak about it. But is this something you kind of just turn the page on that and you're just looking forward to this year? Is this something you kind of use as motivation this year?
Definitely motivation. We had an early exit last year, unfortunate exit, but we still like we try to like we could turn the page, but it's still in the back of your mind of what happened last year, especially when you go away and the fans remind you about it constantly. But that's definitely pushing us this year. Just to play harder. Don't take it for granted, and just come out there every game with a swagger, or let's just play hard.
So I want to go back to last week, the big come from behind victory against Duke.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the time, Duke was everybody's favorite team in the country. They were the number one team. I would say rightfully so with the talent that they have with Paolo Banchero, Trevor Keels, all those guys. Just talk me through the story of that game. Like, was there ever a moment where the gravity kind of set in of like, damn, we're pretty far behind here? And then how did it start to turn momentum wise to a point where you could just start to feel a comeback coming?
I think when we was in halftime, we came together as a group and was like, look, we know, I forgot how much we were down by, but we came together and was like, look, we can claw back, it's still a long half, still got 20 minutes to play. And in the end, we did. We got defensive stops and, got good shots around the rim, and people hit big shots. So, had the outcome that we wanted.
Definitely. And, I think one thing when I watch you guys play is in college basketball, there's so much turnover with a lot of people, staying 1 year, leaving. But, based off the way you guys are on the court, and also I'm pretty heavy on TikTok. So I see you guys are pretty close knit off the court as well.
So we're a TikTok team.
So talk about kind of how you guys have been, been playing. I mean, this is your second year with the team, but a lot of the guys on the team have been playing with each other for a couple of years. How's that like help you kind of bring things in and stick together in those tough times like that?
We're this culture that we're in is big on like camaraderie and being together. So we do everything together, like as a team. When we go out, like to the movies or something like that, and then we go as a team. Go out to dinner. We're never on our phones. We're just talking to each other, laughing. That builds like team chemistry, and you can see that on the court. We're together on the court. We know where everyone is in the spots, and it's just from us. Just doing stuff with each other. TikTok, for example, is one. Dancing, and we're always practice and stuff. So we're always around each other. So we just have like a really good bond with each other.
So the other thing that jumps out to me from watching you guys in the early portion of the season is how hard your schedule has been. Yeah. Like, I'm just looking at how many primetime games I feel like I've watched you guys play this year at Xavier, home to Seton Hall. Well, the Fort Myers tip-off, Seton Hall in Florida.
Yeah.
Obviously the Duke game, and then still upcoming. We're into Big Ten play, and you have a game against Kentucky coming up in a week. So what's that like? Does it feel? I mean, I don't know what schedule you played last year without looking. Like, does this feel like a bit of a gauntlet that you guys have gone through? And how do you think that's going to prepare you when you get into Big Ten play?
This definitely is the most tough schedule that I ever played. No, this is my second year, but it was definitely more tougher than last year. It's good for us, to play such a tough schedule so early. It helps us in the end of the year. March Madness, Big Ten tournament. That's when teams are really amped, and teams ready to come in and win. So just playing a tough schedule in the beginning, it definitely helps us in the end, because it's tough to play in March Madness. I learned that from like the one game last year. It's really tough for March Madness. It's a different vibe. So.
Yeah, but I think with the Big Ten conference, especially this year, it's gonna prepare you for March, because there's really no off nights with the big men you got to face in this league. Coming in that as a player, you got to relish in that moment, though, to come in that moment. And maybe some people aren't talking about Zed Key matching up, but they need to be talking about you. How do you approach these games when you're playing like first team All-Americans and Kofi Coburn and the Travion Williams, Zach Edey's, and those type of players?
Just come in and I just come in and play like I know how to play. Play hard. Just keep the game simple. Really, like don't make it too complicated. And play, as I said before, just play hard. That's what all boils down to. Is just playing hard and effort on the court. So because obviously I played Zach Edey last year, and that's a large, big human being. Like that's large. He's a large human being. But it's fun to play down there. I like the challenge. So I like when people doubt us and stuff like that. It gives me and like the team like a more of an urge. So I think that's the right word, like an urge, like just to do more and win.
Yeah, you got the right recipe anyway, though, because they can be 7 foot, they can be whatever. If you put them 2 feet under the basket, they can't really do nothing with you.
Yeah, he's Zach Edey 7'6". Yeah, that's the tallest player I've ever played against. I'm telling you, I've been telling people they need to have a height limit in the Big Ten, because 7'6" is just ridiculous.
That's just too damn tall.
Like I'm 6'8", and I'm looking at you like you're almost a whole foot taller than me, and I'm not short.
Yeah, that's just that classic Purdue center. Somebody's got to investigate what Matt Painter's doing here, because I don't know where he finds these students.
7'6", goodness.
Yeah, and it seems like they got a new one every single year. It's crazy.
Every year. Every year.
It's wild. So I want to ask about Chris Holtmann, because I'm someone who's followed Big Ten play my entire life. And I respect Chris Holtmann in a huge way as a coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in the conference. I think what he's done so far in his tenure at Ohio State is extremely impressive. And I love the type of rosters he builds, quite frankly. But personality wise, I don't feel like I really get a good gauge on who he is or what it's like to play for him the same way that I do with some of these more demonstrative coaches like a Tom Izzo or a Juwan Howard. There's probably others that I'm not even naming, but what is Chris Holtmann truly like behind the scenes, and what's it like playing for him?
He's really like a laid back guy, but not so laid back that he's let you do whatever. Like obviously, as a head coach, he's gonna get on you if you're not playing hard practice or doing the right thing. But he's really he's a really good guy, really good guy to talk to. You can go up to his office anytime and have a conversation with him, and that goes with the whole coaching staff as well. It's a good team that they have up there, and just playing under him, like I love it. Love his style, and I tell people like coaching. I need to go somewhere where I had a bond like the coach. And my coaching style is not a whole bunch of yelling. I don't like all that yelling like just in your face. And Holtmann is definitely he's not that type of guy. So I really like Holtmann a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad you could kind of give us a little insight, because me and Greg went to Big Ten Media Day. And we're like getting a read on all these coaches. And I could not get anything out of Holt. I was listening to all his answers. I'm like, yeah, he just keeps his cards close. I don't know who knows what he's doing behind the scenes. So we needed this insight. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, G, you want to get I think we should get to the shot clock now.
Yeah, let's jump right to it. So we did a little sequence at Big Ten Media Day where we put players on the clock and just did a series of rapid fire questions. So I want to have you run through this as well. What was it? 24 seconds, Cart?
Yep, 24 seconds. Which now that I think about it, is kind of wrong because college isn't 24 seconds, but no one has called us out on it to this point. So we're gonna rock with 24 seconds.
Yeah, I might call you out. I was gonna rock. I wasn't gonna say nothing.
All right, we'll work with that. Cart, you got the timer ready?
Yep. All right. 24 seconds on the clock. Greg with the rapid fire questions. Zed Key with the answers. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
Favorite road arena to play in the Big Ten?
Oh boy. I haven't played all of them, so I'm gonna have to say Rutgers.
If you could have any NIL deal in the world, what would it be?
Oh boy, it has to do something with a car. It has to do something with a car. So yeah, something to do with a car. Yeah.
All right. If you could dunk on any player in the Big Ten from an opposing team, who would it be?
Zach Edey, because it's always one.
All right, last question, G. Fire.
Who's the most underrated player on Ohio State?
Shoot, I'm gonna have to give that to Malachi Branham. Yeah, that's my guy. He's my roommate over there. The next room over, and he's gonna shock a lot of people this year.
And I know this is outside of the 24 seconds, but I gotta ask this: certified lover boy or Donda?
Oh, certified lover boy.
Okay, all right, good. What's the best song on certified lover boy?
Donda has some hits though.
Hurricane
is a hit. Hurricane is a hit.
Okay.
But the best song, I'm gonna have to go. Oh boy. Let me do a quick check before I say the wrong one. I'm gonna be mad that probably Knife Talk is up there, but I'm gonna have to do Way Too Sexy. Yeah, that's just a classic one.
That's a good one. I'm trying to think. I can't remember what EJ said at Media Day. Do you remember, Greg?
I don't remember. I think he might have said
Girls Want Girls. Knife Talk. Oh, girls like girls. That's another one. Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
It's a classic. All right, I have to give my final question to you now, and we have a good portion of our listening audience that from the state of Michigan, maybe Michigan Wolverine fans. So football, big loss for Ohio State, first time in a very long time. I'm assuming the basketball rivalry is still a very real thing that you feel. Any expectations, any words going into maybe get some revenge for your football boys this year?
Yeah, I'm just going to say this to people now. It's going to be a really good game, and not trying to look forward because I have no idea when we play them. No idea, but I'm excited to go against the team up north, and I'm ready to go.
Zed Key so poised because really could have went off right there, but just cool, calm, and collected. I love it.
I love it. Hey, well, thank you so much for doing this, man. We appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the season, and we're looking forward to watching you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.